Hello and welcome. Today's message is simple but powerful. Life is short. The moments you waste, you'll never get back. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover how to make every single day count. If you knew for certain that you had only a handful of years left to live, how would you spend them? Would you wake up earlier to watch the sunrise, feeling the golden light touch your face? Would you call the people you love just to hear their voices? Would you finally start the business, take the trip, write the book, or create the thing you've been carrying in your heart for years? If you knew that your time was running out, would you still spend entire afternoons scrolling endlessly through your phone, or weeks and months putting off the things that matter most? The reality is, the clock is already ticking. Every second we live is a second we will never get back. We can earn back money, we can replace possessions, but time, once spent, it is gone forever. And yet, so many of us live as if we have an unlimited supply. We act like there will always be more some days, when in truth, the number of days we have is shrinking every single sunrise. We like to tell ourselves that we are preparing for life, that all the hard work, all the sacrifices, all the waiting are leading toward a time when we'll finally get to live fully. But here's the truth we don't want to face. Life isn't waiting for us to be ready. This is it. This moment is not a rehearsal for something better down the road. It's the real thing. The idea of someday is the greatest thief of joy.
We convince ourselves we'll pursue our dreams when the kids are older, when we have more money, when work slows down, when the world calms down, when everything is perfect.
But perfect never comes. Life is never without challenges, without uncertainty, without reasons to postpone. If we wait until all the lights are green before we leave the driveway, we will never go anywhere. The people we admire most, the ones who leave legacies, are not those who had a perfect path. They're the ones who acted in spite of imperfection. Every day, we are presented with a choice: to live intentionally or to drift through life on autopilot. Living intentionally is about more than just setting goals. It's about aligning our days with what truly matters. It's waking up each morning and asking, is this how I want to spend my time? Will my future self thank me for what I'm doing today? Challenges will come. That is not a maybe, it's a guarantee. Life will test you, throw obstacles in your way, and sometimes knock you down so hard you'll wonder if you can get back up. But these challenges are not roadblocks meant to end your journey. They are part of the journey. Every obstacle is an invitation to grow stronger. Every failure a lesson disguised as defeat. The most fulfilled people are not the ones who avoided pain. They are the ones who learned to use pain as fuel.
Look at any remarkable success story, and you'll find a trail of setbacks. People who achieve greatness didn't get there by gliding effortlessly through life. They faced rejection, endured failure, battled self-doubt, but they kept going. They didn't let their defeats define them. They let those defeats refine them. They understood that perseverance isn't about never falling down. It's about rising again every single time. That's the difference between those who live fully and those who give up halfway. And none of it is possible without self-belief. If you don't believe in yourself, you will live at the mercy of other people's opinions. You will wait for permission that will never come. The world doesn't hand out approval slips for your dreams. You have to sign your own. Self-belief is not arrogance. It's not about thinking you are better than others. It's about knowing deep down that you have something valuable to offer. It's about giving yourself the same faith you so easily give to others. Think for a moment about how many opportunities you've let slip away because you were afraid of what someone might think. Think about the dreams you've kept locked away because you feared failure. Now imagine if you had acted on them. Where would you be today?
The biggest difference between the people who live fully and those who simply exist is not luck, talent, or resources. It's courage. Courage to take the first step without knowing exactly where it will lead. Courage to risk failure for the chance at fulfillment. Courage to say, "This is my life, and I will live it on my terms." We live in a culture that idolizes safety, that tells us to play it safe, to be realistic, to avoid risk. But safety is not the same as happiness. You can live your whole life in the safety of the familiar and still feel empty. Comfort zones may feel good, but nothing grows there. The life you truly want is always on the other side of fear. Spending your life wisely starts with deciding what matters most to you. And here's the thing. What matters will be different for everyone. For some, it's building a family. For others, it's creating art, traveling the world, growing a business, or serving a cause. The key is to stop letting other people's definitions of success dictate your own. You are the one who has to live with your choices. You are the one who will look back one day and either smile with satisfaction or ache with regret. And sometimes spending your life wisely means slowing down. We live in an age where busyness is worn like a badge of honor. We fill our schedules until there's no space to breathe, thinking that activity equals productivity. But being busy is not the same as being effective. True productivity comes from clarity, knowing exactly what you want and focusing your energy there. When you know your priorities, you can stop wasting time on what doesn't matter and start investing it in what does. The present moment is where life happens. The past is unchangeable, the future is uncertain, and the only place you can act is now. But too often, we live everywhere except the present. We dwell on the past, replaying mistakes like old tapes. We live in the future, thinking happiness will come when we finally get there. But there is no magical there. There is only here. And here is enough, if you make it enough. Gratitude is the key to making the present enough. When you practice gratitude, you stop taking the ordinary for granted. You notice the morning light spilling through your window, the sound of a friend's laughter, the taste of your favorite meal. You realize that joy is not hidden in grand achievements, but woven into the fabric of everyday life. Gratitude turns the life you have into the life you love. But gratitude doesn't mean complacency. You can be deeply grateful for where you are and still be hungry for growth. The difference is, you're not chasing something because you feel incomplete. You're chasing it because you want to see just how much more you're capable of. That shift changes everything. Fear will always be there. You cannot eliminate it, but you can decide to act anyway. In fact, fear can be a guide. Often, the things we fear most are the things that matter most. If your heart races at the thought of speaking your truth, of starting the business, of making the change, that's usually a sign you're moving in the right direction. Growth happens in discomfort. It happens when you leave the safety of the familiar and step into uncertainty. And it doesn't have to be dramatic. Spending your life wisely isn't about making grand, sweeping changes overnight. It's about consistent, small actions that add up. Choosing to learn instead of waste time. Choosing to nurture relationships instead of taking them for granted.
choosing to take care of your body instead of neglecting it.
One day, you will look back and realize it was the small, seemingly insignificant moments that made your life extraordinary. The conversations that opened your heart, the risks you took that made you feel alive, the times you failed and came back stronger, the people you loved in the ways you showed it. Those are the moments worth spending your life on. So take an honest look at your days. Where is your time going? Are you investing it in what matters most? Or are you letting it slip away on things that leave you empty? Guard your time fiercely. It is your most valuable asset. And when you give it to something or someone, give it fully.
There will never be a perfect time to start living fully. The perfect time is now. Stop waiting. Stop postponing. Stop telling yourself that someday will be better. Begin today. Take one step toward the dream, the change, the life you want. That first step will lead to the next, and before you know it, you will have built a life you once only imagined. One day, your time will run out. None of us knows when that day will come, but when it does, I hope you can look back and say, I didn't waste it. I lived with intention. I loved with all my heart. I pursued my dreams. I made a difference. That is the mark of a life well spent. Life is short. Spend it on what matters. Spend it on the people who lift you higher, on the work that excites you, on the experiences that expand your soul.